Good study and revision techniques will make sure that you are well prepared for tests and examinations. But there is also a lot you can do during the exam itself to improve your chances of doing well. This is called exam technique. Check out the following tips to see if they can help you improve your performance in exams. Make sure that you go into the exam well rested. Get enough sleep the night before, and make sure that you eat a light and nutritious meal on the morning of the exam. Make sure to drink water so that you stay hydrated and alert. Avoid junk food because it can make you feel sleepy. Double-check the starting time of the exam and where it's being held. Also make sure that you know how long the exam's going to last. Make sure that you have pens, pencils, a calculator, and any other equipment you need before leaving the house. It's good to pack your bag the night before the exam. Make sure that you have a watch, in case you're not able to see the clock in the exam room. Leave yourself more time than you think you will need to get to the exam. The last thing you want is to be late and in a rush. You might be the kind of person who finds sitting exams a bit stressful, but it's perfectly natural to feel a little anxious. In fact, being a bit nervous can be a good thing because it keeps your mind alert and is a sign that you want to do well. However, too much anxiety or stress can affect your performance in the exam. You might even experience physical problems, such as sweaty palms, an upset stomach, a headache, or difficulty breathing. This can reduce your ability to concentrate and recall important information during the exam. The quickest and best way of reducing stress and feelings of panic is to close your eyes and take several long, deep breaths. Deep breathing helps to calm you down and ensures that enough oxygen gets to your brain. Think positive thoughts. Tell yourself, I am going to pass this exam, or I know I can do really well. Be confident. Remember, the exam is your chance to show the examiner what you have learned. Try not to spend too much time with friends before the exam starts. If they are nervous or worried, it might make you feel the same way. OK, so now the exam itself. When the exam begins, try not to be put off if everyone around you seems to be writing straight away. A little planning and organisation at the start will pay off when it comes to answering the questions. Take a quick read through the exam paper to see the kinds of questions you are being asked. Read the instructions very carefully. For example, answer 2 questions from Section A and 2 questions from Section B. Check to see whether you have a choice in the questions you have to answer. In some exams, you will have to answer all the questions. In others, however, you may be required to choose from a selection of questions. If you have a choice, don't be tempted to answer a question just because it's the subject or topic you know most about. It might be a real nightmare of a question. Are you sure you can do it? Can you answer all parts of the question? You might find there is an easier question on another topic that wasn't your first choice. Look at all questions on the paper and ask yourself, in which question am I able to get the most marks? That should be the one at the top of your list, and the one you should start with. When you know which questions you are going to answer, list the order in which you are going to answer them. Look carefully at the marks allocated to each question. Those offering more marks need more time, and usually longer answers. Decide how much time you are going to spend on each question. You can note this on the paper. As a rough guide, if the exam lasts for, say, 120 minutes, and you must answer 6 questions, then you should aim to spend around 20 minutes on each, assuming all questions carry the same number of marks, You've also got to allow for the time you spend choosing and planning questions at the start of the exam. Although it's important to take your time at the start of the exam, make sure you don't spend too long on planning. Otherwise, you might not leave enough time to complete all the questions. This is where practicing with past exam papers will help you to manage your time effectively during the actual exam. OK, so you're now ready to answer your first question. Rule number 1. When doing essay-type answers, don't fall into the trap of just writing down everything you know about the topic. Make sure you're clear about what you are being asked to do. Pay special attention to key words such as describe, explain, contrast, and illustrate. These will give you clues about how you should tackle the question. You might find it helpful to make a quick plan of how you're going to write an essay answer before you start. You can scribble down some key points at the top of the page that will help guide you when you are writing the essay. For subjects like maths and science, it might help to note down any formulae that you might need before you begin to answer the question. If questions are divided into sections, pay attention to the allocation of marks for each section when writing your answer. There's no point in writing a 3-page answer if there are only 2 marks available for that section. As a general rule, if there are, say, 4 marks available, try to make sure that your answer contains at least 4 key points. The examiner will probably be using a marking scheme, which awards 1 mark for each valid point that you have made, or each step you have completed correctly. There are different ways of scoring marks in your answer. You can do this by making definitions, explaining points, giving examples, drawing on facts or evidence, justifying ideas, comparing different points of view. For answers which include formulae or calculations, make sure to show all working, because even if your final answer is not correct, you can still score marks along the way. If you suddenly realise you're answering a question the wrong way, don't waste time trying to correct it by scoring out parts of your answer or using Tipp-Ex. Put a line through the whole section and start again. When you have finished the first question, take a fresh page for the next one. Make sure to keep an eye on your watch so you know that you are leaving enough time to complete all questions. If your mind goes blank, don't panic. Panicking will just make it harder to remember information. Stop writing, close your eyes, and take slow, deep breaths. If you still can't remember the information, then move on to another question and return to this part later. It may well come back to you. If you have spent too long on some questions, you might find yourself running out of time to finish the exam paper. If you haven't got time to answer the last question, write down the key points which you would have put in your answer. That way, you should still get some marks. You don't have to write in sentences. Bullet points are a good way of getting things down quickly. If you have any time left when you've finished the exam, check over all your answers carefully, and the questions too. New ideas might come into your head, and you can revisit earlier questions and make extra points. Make sure that your name is on all papers that you are handing in to be marked. OK, so that's it over. After the exam is finished, try not to worry about things that did not go as well as you had hoped. For example, a question that you didn't answer as well as you could have done. Remain positive and think about the questions that you did answer well. You'll probably have another exam coming up soon, so it's time to shift your focus onto that. If you found these suggestions helpful, why not check out some of the other tips in the sections about studying and revising?